Hey, everybody. We got a fun show for you today, but something not fun happened. Tim Sale passed away, one of the best comic artists you'll ever see, and apparently one of the best people you'll ever meet as well. And if you are unfamiliar with Tim Sale's work, I'm telling you right now, you should be. You're slipping. You gotta check it out. And the reason for that is you're listening to this podcast, you're a fan of horror, you're a fan of Halloween. You need to read. And I said read, I did not say watch because that cartoon fucked everything up. Batman, The Long Halloween. Check it out. Buy the hardcover. Trust me, you'll love it. If you don't, I'm sorry, you have no taste. But check it out if you love creepy, spooky stuff. If you like Batman, if you like murder mysteries, and you want to see Batman actually be a detective instead of just someone that punches people in the face, this is one to go with. It's great. Written by Jeff Loeb. Absolutely love it. Check it out. Even if comics aren't really your thing, I think you'll still enjoy it. Okay, so Batman: The Long Halloween. It's very easily available. So you can get it at any bookstore, pretty much. You don't have to go to a comic book store, but I implore you to keep those places in business because my favorite one closed down recently. So I want you to visit your comic book stores so those things don't happen. This episode isn't about comics, though. It's about all kinds of other random stuff. So we will get to that now. R.I.P. Tim Sale and R.I.P. Earth 2 Comics Northridge as well.
Welcome to another miserable podcast, Horror Decomposed. My name is Zach. With me today, the graduate, Chris.
The graduate. I was gonna say, are you gesturing to me?
I was trying to decide who I was going to introduce first, and I'm like, I always introduce Casey first, so I'm going to mix things up, and then I just like...
Casey, get in the back seat.
The graduate, Chris Pistol.
Hello, darkness, my old friend.
How is life after school,
I fell
Chris?
asleep in front of the TV again.
After grad school.
Still working just a part-time job. I can't think of another line.
That was pretty good. That's
hard
pretty
to
good.
rhyme. It's hard to rhyme.
And of course, you already heard him do the cold open today, the one and only Professor Casey.
Ahoy, hoy. I'm on summer vacation right now, so I haven't worked for 2 weeks. I don't work for another 2 weeks, and I do not know what to do with myself.
Yeah, my wife is in the same boat. She just is like, I don't know what to do with myself right now. I'm like, what about all those projects you said you wanted to do this summer? She's like, no.
Yeah, that's a different kind of motivation. That's kind of like, maybe. You know?
I just saw the awesome comic she made of your dog that she posted on Instagram. That was fantastic.
That's what she's been working on the last week.
That was so cute.
Yeah, I know. I'm telling her she needs to become a fucking like children's book illustrator.
That should be great. Awesome. Yeah, that's really, really wonderful illustrations.
If anyone out there listening is writing a children's book or interested in writing one, my wife is a fantastic illustrator.
She's really, really great. So we have kind of a all over the place episode today. We're gonna get back to our I feel like bread and butter themed shows next month. We will perhaps do a poll. Maybe we'll do another edition of Not Shark Week, because that was a lot of fun last year. Maybe we'll do,
we're coming
we
up on
definitely got to do
a
kind of a Bigfoot themed show at some point. So one of those two things we're going to do next month. So stay tuned for Twitter. We'll definitely do a poll at some point as well. So could be for that. We'll see. But in the meantime, we got a couple movies to talk about, a few movies. We got some video games to talk about and some random news tidbits, things like that. I just have to ask you guys about this real quickly because I think I tweeted you or I sent you a message about it. It just needs to be brought up on the show because it's ridiculous. They're making a Squid Game reality show with a $4.56 million prize and 456 participants. And the collective reaction to this on Twitter was just like did they watch the show? Like
It's fine. And the reaction was a bunch of people that think that the floor is lava really uses lava or something.
No, but it's just funny that like the whole show is, you know, these wealthy, you know, 1% elites that are paying to watch all these people like slaughtered. You know, I mean, you know, the Purge is basically about is similar things, especially Purge Anarchy. Like, it's just like a very reoccurring theme in horror right now. And so it's like,
Yeah.
do the Netflix execs know like what the show is about?
I mean,
Do they,
they're just
like,
being
that
upfront
was a
with
bad
what
thing?
they're just being upfront with what every reality show really does anyway. I mean,
I'm wondering who's gonna like sign up for it. You know, like
ooh, that's a good
watched the show.
question. I think the only one I would do is the floor is lava. So if you guys want to be a floor is lava team,
I would do that. That looks fun.
Mm-hmm.
I always love how when I watch The Floor is Lava, I'm like, so they must tell the contestants when they fall in the water to sink below the water, so it looks like they're being dissolved.
dude, if I'm
by
falling
water.
in the water, I'm doing the fucking Terminator 2. I have not seen one person do that yet.
Yeah, that's true. Anyway,
I'm doing a full-on Academy Award-winning performance if I'm falling in there.
I gotta
I've
just
been
have
waiting
the
to see,
thumbs.
Draw
like-
all the attention to me.
I've been waiting to see someone that like doesn't want to like dip their head completely below the water because I doubt it's very shallow, very like deep water. But like everyone seems to dip their head below somehow. So I just want to see like the awkward. Okay, they have to get out of the water while everyone is just standing on their platforms and watching them be like whisked away to the.
And then some PA
outside
has
the
to come and
obstacle.
dry off wherever they got out. Yeah.
But yeah, Squid Game reality show. Yikes! But I'm sure it'll be entertaining. Read the fine print. If you're applying for that show, read the fine print, guys.
Yeah,
Or-
because I mean, Wipeout has killed someone. So you gotta be careful. You gotta be careful.
I can't wait for the episode based off the Dalgona candy contest that was in the show. If you've seen the show, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, they
If
should
you don't,
just
you be
Just,
confused.
just do it up front, episode 1. It's what people are tuning in for. Now they'll probably do a 2-part season and then just have that at the beginning of the second part just to bother people.
Yeah.
Like Stephen King shitting on Stranger Things for breaking up the season, and then the bros having to say, "Dude, we're not done. We had to, we had to stop."
Oh, you know I was gonna before we get to the movie, I just discovered there's a new 4K collector's edition of Lost Boys coming out.
Nice.
Region free. I think it's UK, but it's region free. So I have the Blu-ray, but I mean I might have to pick that up because it's Lost Boys.
Okay, so here's the thing:
Yeah.
you're using your PS5 for a UHD player. Region free might not necessarily work. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. I have not tested it. So
It might be a risk I have to take,
it's
Casey.
it's a risky buy. Yeah.
It's Lost Boys, 4K.
He'll buy it for the box alone.
Who wants to go first?
Not
Go
me.
ahead, Zach.
Me. Okay. Wow, what an easy decision we came to just there. There was no debate about that at all. I totally didn't edit anything out. Okay, so I saw Watcher, directed by Chloe Akuno. And if you know Chloe Akuno, you know her from the segment she directed in VHS 94, Storm Drain, also known as
cool
Hail
one.
Ratma.
Yes.
Yeah. One of the best segments in that film. We saw Ratma at Monsterpalooza. Not as big in person as they thought they would be. Still intimidating, though. And yeah, I was really excited to see this because I really love that segment. She's a young up-and-coming filmmaker. And I just wanted to see something new from someone different. And this is a really great debut from Chloe. Just a really solid Watchers. It's a really solid old school, no frills thriller. You know, there isn't anything that new here, but what's here is really well made. The story centers around Julia, played by Micah Monroe from It Follows. She's one of the, I'd say, top kind of final girls, so to speak, in this day and age of horror. She's done The Guest. She's done a bunch of other independent horror movies that I haven't seen that I need to. I was looking at her resume on IMDb, her credits, and there's a bunch of stuff that has just escaped me that I need to check out. Some of them sounded pretty interesting. But Watcher is one of the bigger releases she's done, horror releases she's done recently. And so the story centers around Julia, played by Micah Monroe, and her husband Francis, played by Carl Glusman. They're a young couple. They've just moved to Bucharest in Romania because her husband Francis was offered a position at a marketing company there. His family is Romanian, so he speaks the language. It definitely starts off as like this, and it really is a kind of fish out of water sort of story for
You know
Julia.
something, Zach? This is already
Yeah.
interesting to me because in 6th grade, I had to do a report on Bucharest.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
what'd you find out?
Nothing. Like, just that it was close to where Transylvania was supposed to be, and it's fairly close to Castle Dracula. That's all I talked about.
I honestly was hoping this would turn into like a vampire story, like a
Right.
kind of low key vampire story that's not advertised as one. It doesn't, but I was kind of like hoping it would because I thought that would be cool. But
If we
anyway,
have any Romanian listeners, I apologize in advance for that. But
that's not really that's not really a spoiler. But if you're hoping it's going to turn supernatural, it doesn't really turn supernatural.
damn.
So, yeah, this is definitely like a fish out of water, paranoid stalker sort of thriller. Julia, she doesn't speak the language, so we kind of just follow her days in this new country and new city that she doesn't know anyone. We just kind of follow her wandering about the town, exploring different places, but she just kind of has all these awkward interactions because she doesn't speak the language very well. She's trying to learn, but it's still, she kind of just moved far away from her family and any friends she had, and she's just kind of, it's a very solitary sort of, existence for her. Her husband's gone most of the day, so she's just very, when you're by yourself, you kind of start to get in your head about things, and you can maybe even start to see things. And so she notices in their apartment complex, they live in a very nice kind of swanky apartment.
I
They
was
just
just
moved
about to
into-
say, this almost
Yeah.
sounds like my wife's story during the summer vacation. But
Oh,
we don't
really?
live in a swanky apartment.
Yeah. Very nice apartment that they moved into. And she notices an apartment complex across the street. Not quite as nice, but decent. But she sees someone, like a shadow, in one of the windows. And it looks like to her that they're staring at her. And it's a very ominous, intense shadow. And so that just kind of starts to get her wheels turning in her head. Like, that's a little weird. And so she kind of has that in her head. She's going about her day, and then she notices someone she thinks might be following her. She goes to a supermarket. Someone seems to be kind of following her through this market. She's like seeing this person around town, and they kind of just keep showing up where she is. At one point, she kind of tries to escape this person and goes to a movie theater, which is showing the film Charade, which I thought was great. I don't know if they're necessarily trying to evoke Charade with this film, one of the classic romance suspense movies with Cary Grant and Aubrey Hepburn. If you've not seen Charade,
It's a
stop what
theme.
you're doing and
Just a
watch it.
theme.
Yeah, it's
You should have had to watch
Charade's
it in
great.
film school if you went. Just saying.
Charade is one of the greats. So definitely watch Charade. But so she sees this guy kind of follow her to this theater and kind of move closer to her. I'm not going to spoil everything. So she gets very freaked out. She tells her husband about it. She sees the shadow again in her apartment. There are a lot of really eerie scenes in this movie. It really has a great kind of mood to it. It's definitely a slow burn. There aren't a lot of huge set pieces. She does befriend her neighbor at one point. This young woman who's having issues with her boyfriend. And alongside all this that's going on, she discovers there's a news story about a serial killer about town named the Spider that's been beheading women. And so she has that in her head. So it's just one of those things. It's very paranoia-driven kind of a film. Am I being watched? Am I not being watched? Is someone following me? It's one of those. Stalker thrillers are a dime a dozen, but I think this is a really well executed one. All the stuff that she's going through creates a lot of tension with her and her husband, and the fact that he's not been there a lot, and so you kind of got that going on. I will say there aren't really a lot of huge revelations or surprises here. There are some good jump scare moments if that's your thing. Some really subtle, just creepy images, and nice cinematography. It's just a really competently well made, suspenseful thriller. So yeah, my rating was 3.5 out of 5.
Nice.
I don't think it's gonna rock your world, but if you're looking for a good thing to throw on a Friday night or whatever, you don't want to go out, you want just a good solid thriller that's going to entertain you and you'll leave satisfied, this is definitely a good one to watch. So if it ever comes on streaming, definitely check it out. I don't know if you need to rush to theaters to see it, but you know what, go to a theater to see it, because independent films like this deserve
I was
the support.
just going to ask
So,
you where you saw it because it's not coming up on my Just Watch.
I saw it in theaters because
we're-
I don't know if it's on streaming yet.
We're-
So I do
I feel
recommend.
I feel like we're fully back in the day where it's like, oh, things are just playing just in theaters again.
Yeah.
Nice.
Because I really want to see this, and I really want to see Cronenberg's new film. But damn it, physically going, well, not just going to the theater, but having to drive to the next town over where this movie is playing, is quite a bit.
Yeah,
Feeling the stress, the strain.
I went to the movies a couple times last week and nothing to really write home about. I saw the Bob's Burgers movie. It was terrible, 1 star. And
Do you like Bob's Burgers?
I do, and it was just completely unremarkable and formulaic in every way. And I saw
I've heard mixed things about it too, because my brother and my sister-in-law are big fans of it, and they were like kind of disappointed by it because they love the show.
yeah, and
sounds
my
like
girlfriend
the-
too. She's a big fan, and she hated it as well. So like, she's a bigger
Sounds like
fan of
the
it than me.
So it sort of sounds like the stereotypical like movie based on a long-running TV show. It's kind of the
Yeah,
thing, like the Simpsons movie.
I would say the Simpsons movie was better by leaps and bounds, and it wasn't that good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Still though,
I like the
that's,
Simpsons
that's
movie.
I like it too, but it's still kind of just like this is like a just I guess a long episode of The Simpsons.
Also saw Jurassic World Dominion's kind of whatever. I didn't pay for a bug movie. Jesus fucking Christ.
Oh, you watched it?
Yeah.
I just watched. Was it Fallen Kingdoms? That's the second one. Like I hadn't seen.
Yeah.
it.
I don't
And I
know,
had
man.
fun with it. I had fun with it, but at the same time, I was like, "This is what they did." Like, I mean, it just kind of felt like an odd kind of place to take.
Oh,
the
get ready for
sequel.
one that's mostly about mutant locusts and not
But
dinosaurs.
then again, I'm one of the few that liked Jurassic World, and I stumbled upon your Jurassic World review on Letterboxd, Chris, and it's like the most negative review I've seen on Letterboxd.
I was just so angry. Like there are like there are definitely worse movies out there in the world, but there are definitely fewer movies that made me so mad. It's just-
Didn't we see that
so
together,
angry.
Zach?
Yeah, Casey and I saw that
Yeah.
together. We had a great time.
Yeah, we
I'm
liked
pretty
it.
sure. I'm pretty sure I went and saw that movie at like an early screening because I knew somebody who worked on it, and I just having to like contain my rage inside of myself so as not to be weird.
What I like about that movie, and I think probably besides the fact that we were getting another Jurassic Park in theaters, was that it was like we were going to a theme park, and I was with Casey, and it was just a fun popcorn movie for us. It was,
Yeah.
you have to turn your brain off, but like
Any movie with a theme park in it, automatic bump, automatic 1-star addition to the movie if there's some kind of theme park or carnival in it.
and it's a theme park where there are dinosaurs that are going to eat people. Yeah.
Yeah, even
So
better.
like, I wasn't expecting it to be as good as the first one. I knew it wasn't going to be as good as the first one. I don't remember the CGI being, I'm sure it had issues. I think I remember some scenes weren't great, but like, it didn't bother me enough to ruin my enjoyment of it. But
There's
it's been
some
a minute
stuff
since I
in this
watched it.
new one that looks like shit,
Yeah.
but a lot of it looks pretty good.
But I did like Jurassic World. I just like the summer vibe of it, and the second one was okay.
It takes place
so
at Christmas.
The
first movie
Jurassic
takes-
World.
Yeah, at the very
Yeah, it's
beginning of the
Christmas
movie,
break.
the kids
Yeah,
are
but
the kids
it's
are
a
like at
tropical island.
the kids are like at the it's the weirdest fucking choice. It should take place in the summer, but the kids at the beginning of the movie are at the airport and like a Christmas song is playing in the background. And it's like what the fuck?
You remember that? I'll have to check it out. Anyway, yeah, if you're gonna,
I
go
don't
see Jurassic
rewatch
Park,
these things. I don't.
If you're gonna go
rewatch.
see Jurassic
Yeah,
World
no,
Dominion,
that's
if you're
what
gonna-
makes me angry about them is that they're so fucking disposable.
If you're gonna go see Jurassic World Dominion, go see Watcher instead and put some money towards that, because I really want to see what Chloe Akuno does next. And it's
If you're
really
gonna
well made.
if you're gonna go see Bob's Burgers, just punch yourself in the genitals as hard as you can.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if you think about seeing Jurassic World a second time, just it's the fucking it's everything I hate about modern blockbuster filmmaking now. So don't
I
do
didn't think
it.
Jurassic World was that bad, but I can't vouch for the new one, and the sequel was just all right. So
The sequel is so stupid that it's almost fun. Like there's a fucking like haunted house in it for some reason.
Yeah,
It's like
yeah.
that was kind of cool. But-
okay.
So
why
so
not?
haunted house in that movie is locusts in this movie, where you're like, what the fuck? Yeah.
Well, this new one was directed by Colin Trevorrow again, and I hate him. So I don't want to give him any money. So I'll see it maybe when it's. I'll try to watch it when it's streaming.
I like Safety Not Guaranteed.
I gotta
But,
say,
you know,
there's two things. Zoom 30 seconds. Fast forward 30 seconds if you don't want to hear a spoiler. It has Dimetrodons eating people, and they're my favorite non-dinosaur dinosaur, because they're technically not dinosaurs. And also, it brings the Dilophosaurus's back, and that's just delightful. just delightful. They get chumped
They should
out.
have just
though.
made the dinosaurs talk.
What is the dinosaur that
Oh, they
spits
did that
the
with
venom
3.
out? What's the dinosaur that spits the venom out?
That's the Dilophosaurus.
That's the okay, good, because I was like, where is the Dilophosaurus in these movies? That was the coolest. That was the coolest one by far.
Yeah, there's plenty. There's plenty. Okay, so we're done with spoilers.
Unfortunately, you can't bring Wayne Knight back. I don't unless he's like comes back as a blind man or something.
I like how we just transitioned from your movie, Zach, into a totally Jurassic World mini segment.
Yeah, yeah. All right, Casey or Chris, who's next?
I'll do a video game thing.
Okay.
I'll do a palette
Okay.
refresher for a video game thing.
I feel
So-
like we're gonna go on a journey with Chris's review, so maybe that's a
Yeah.
wise choice.
So okay,
Mine's
so
hard to talk about.
me and Zach play games. Chris, you don't really play games that much, right? Like,
No,
But I
play
think you'd
Mario
like
Kart
this-
on my phone.
I
and
think you would
Nintendo
like this
64.
one, but you would need a modern system to play it, so that kind of sucks. Okay.
Yeah.
Because The Quarry's more of an interactive movie than a game. So there's this company, Supermassive, that makes these really cool interactive movies. They're probably best known for Until Dawn, that came out just for PlayStation 4. And it starred Rami Malek and Hayden Panettiere, and it was kind of a slasher movie that got supernatural and weird, and it was a bit unfocused, but it was fun. And so basically,
yeah.
you play, you explore, you try to solve the mystery of what's going on, but most of the stuff you're doing is almost choose your own adventure-y or based on QuickTime events. So those of you that game, you know what QuickTime events are. Those of you that don't, it's when they flash a button on the screen really fast and you have to press it or you die, basically.
Yeah.
Or something bad happens. It leaned really hard into QuickTime events on Until Dawn, to where it got kind of annoying after a while. I did like the game. I felt like the story was an unfocused mess. They came back and they made a few games now in this thing called the Dark Pictures Anthology, which I haven't played yet, but I have the new Big Dick Ultra Massive PlayStation Plus, and they're included on there. So I'm gonna play them, and because it was like
That's
36
that's
bucks.
what they should have called it, just Big Dick PlayStation Plus tier.
Yeah, because I don't remember what it's actually called, but if they called it the Big Dick tier, I would remember. And then they came out with The Quarry also. Okay, so they were doing those games for Bandai, and they still are. This is a 2K release, so it's got a higher budget. It's got more recognizable people in it. So you're a group of camp counselors, and it looks like a slasher movie in all the advertisements. It is not. It is actually a very well-known classic monster. Let's put it that way. You find out about 2 seconds into the game what this classic monster is, so don't worry about that. But none of the characters do. They're kind of dumb about putting it together, what they're fighting against, but they figure it out pretty quickly. And it's awesome. The story is focused this time. This game is great. I absolutely love it. So, okay, as far as celebs that are in it, let's see. You've got Sam Raimi, motherfucker. Yeah. You've got Lance Henriksen. Yes. You have Lynn Shay doing her like New Line Cinema cameo in the movie, kind of, and she gets fucked up in the story if you make the
Wait,
right
is
choice.
it Sam Raimi or Ted Raimi?
Oh, did I say Sam? It's
You
Ted.
said Sam.
It's Ted.
Okay.
Wishful thinking. I think everyone that sees Ted wishes it's Sam. I'm sorry, Ted.
Oh no, I love seeing Ted Raimi.
No,
dude.
Ted
I love
is
seeing
Ted
Raimi.
is great in this game. He is creepy as shit. We also have former WCW World Heavyweight Champion wrestling legend David Arquette, and on the counselor's side, the most recognizable people are probably Justice Smith from Chris's favorite movie, Jurassic World. And oh wait, no, he might have just been from the second one. Justice Smith wasn't in the first one, was he?
I don't. Was he in any of them?
Recollection.
Yeah, he was in the second and third one. He's like one of the hacker dinosaur stealer kids. You know?
Oh, yeah. This is the second
Oh,
one,
oh yeah. Okay, I know who he is. Yeah, I just didn't know. Oh, he was in Detective Pikachu. That's right. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
How could you
in the
forget
second
Detective
one.
Pikachu?
I've never
Yeah.
seen that movie. Digimon for
It's
life,
good.
by the
it's,
way.
it's surprisingly good.
Also, you get Ariel Winter, who, holy shit, her death is fucked up if you get it. Okay. So there's a little bit of a spoiler. Everyone in this game can die. Everyone in this game can live. So you can get an ending where everyone dies or where everyone lives, or you can do it like a horror movie and you can just say, I fucked up sometimes and some people died, or you do what I do and you kill the people you don't like on purpose. Okay. Oh, also Brenda Song. Brenda Song's in this and she's great. I'm sorry I forgot her. She's awesome. But this game,
Lydia concurs that Brenda Song is
yeah, because spoilers, there's actually an achievement tied to Brenda Song. I won't go any more into that, which I haven't done yet. But yeah, so basically you get characters like the shy goth girl or the brooding kind of emo guy, the sexy Australian man. You get dumb beefcake jock that causes all of the problems everyone has. Killed that motherfucker. It was sweet. His really annoying girlfriend, she died too, in my playthrough. Also, you have some run-ins with a redneck family, and sometimes they die, sometimes they don't. And let's just say, I murdered the shit out of Lin Shaye in this game. Like, I felt
What?
bad. It was so graphic. It was probably the most graphic and gory death I've ever seen in a video game. Yeah.
How is this so compared to
How
like
could you, Casey?
how does this control compared to Until Dawn? How much choice do you have? How much freedom do you have? As
It feels like your
player?
choices actually make more sense, like when they're choices, but the quick time stuff affects you less. Because when I was actively trying to kill Beefcake Jock Dude, I had to fail like 3 quick times for him to die. But his girlfriend, I just made the wrong choice on purpose, and she died right away. So
is there a lot of like to explore within the environments? Is
yes.
it like how much
So you find clues about what's happening that kind of tell more of the story. You also find tarot cards, which you bring back to this witch that's like your narrative person in this game, kind of like how Until Dawn was structured. And if you get the tarot cards, she lets you pick one and you can see a scene that could happen in the future. And it's usually something bad that happens that you might want to try to avoid, or something that you might want to make happen. There was an achievement tied to Ariel Winter's death, so I kind of figured out where it was going to happen, and yeah, that's a death. So what's really cool is though, so you play it the first time, you're hands on with the controller.
we say her character's death, not her death. She's very
Yeah,
much
it's her characters, but hers is one of the ones that's the most eerily realistic looking like her. So it's like extra fucked up, you know? But and she's such a nice character. Like you're like, oh shit. Like she's the one you would, if it was an 80s movie, you would expect her to be a final girl.
Well, I mean, there's a way to save her character. I'm assuming you just didn't.
Yeah, I just didn't because I wanted the trophy. But yeah. Yeah, they did this really cool thing where it feels like an 80s movie, but it's not trying to be an 80s movie. It's just kind of the vibe that it has. Like people still have cell phones in this game and shit like that. It's set in modern times. Uses decent licensed music, nothing I would go out of my way to listen to, but it goes well in the game. Like it starts with Ariana Grande doing Fly Me to the Moon, like her cover of it, which, gee, I wonder why a game would be talking about a moon that has a classic monster in it. I'm just saying. But
Frankenstein?
yes, Frankenstein. This game is about Frankenstein.
That would be freaking awesome. I'm just saying.
Speaking of
Frankenstein just, like,
Frankenstein's,
terrorizing a bunch of-
Ethan Suplee's in this movie, and I'm still in this game, and I'm not used to buff Ethan still, and he kind of freaks me out. Because, you know, I'm used to him being Willem from Mallrats that can't see the fucking stereogram, you know? But he's ripped now. I don't know if you guys know this. He's like fucking buff.
I do.
And
Is there a scene where he stares at a magic eye picture and just gets really angry?
No, but he gets really angry a lot. That's for sure.
Oh,
And
okay.
but yeah, it's a fun exploration of a classic monster. Also, there's some cool modes that you get when you beat the game. Okay, so you can actually do this from the beginning too. You can just play the game in movie mode, and you can select everyone lives or everyone dies, and just sit there and watch it like a movie. I have no idea how long this movie is because the game took me about 11 hours to beat. So it cuts out all the walking around and exploring shit, though. So it's probably significantly shorter. Also, if you buy the special edition of the game, there's another movie mode that you can use, which is the Gore Fest, which just shows everyone dying in the goriest way possible when it's their time to die. So,
Oh man,
Fun.
yeah, Ariel Winter's definitely in there.
that's
Lynn
probably on
Shaye's
YouTube.
definitely in
I'm
there.
assuming.
I don't know. I don't know because Lynch Shays was so graphic. There might be problems with posting it to YouTube. Like I had a screenshot and I'm like, I'm not going to tweet this. I'm going to get my account suspended. It's that bad.
Yikes.
So how did you try and replay it at all? I've heard like the replay value of this one isn't quite as good as Until Dawn
Oh.
in terms of like choices you make and
I'd say it's actually better than Until
Okay.
Dawn choices wise because I listened to Kinda Funny's podcast, their spoiler cast of them playing through the game, and a lot of the shit that happened to them was way different than mine. And so I think it's a lot more impactful with the choices you're making because a lot of the Until Dawn choices were fake as fuck. They would change like a thing in the background or something like that. This, you can make the wrong choice and die without like failing getting chased by someone or something.
so would you say this is better than Until Dawn?
Oh, 100%, yeah. And the story's a million times better. The performances. I played the PlayStation 5 version, ballin'. But it's available for PS4, the Xbox systems, and I think maybe PC as well. There's also some cool video filters you get. What's really cool is when you beat the game, you unlock director mode. So you can unlock a mode where you watch it in movie mode, but you come up with the motivations of the characters beforehand. You don't say if they live or die, but you could say, okay, she's going to be mean when she talks to people, and he's going to be oblivious when he's looking for things that might help him when he's in trouble. Oh, when she's scared, she's clumsy. And when he's scared, he punches things. Like you could do like all these choices and then you can see it, but you have to beat the game first to get that. Also, if you get the special edition, you get this right away. If you beat the game, you unlock a rewind mode that if you kill someone you didn't want to die, you can rewind and make a different choice. But
Cool.
according to Greg Miller, sometimes that knocks you way back because he used it. But yeah, I didn't use it at all in the playthrough. I just played normally, and the people I wanted to die died, and the people I wanted to live lived. But I do want to do a replay to try to save everyone or not. But it's kind of cool. There's some DLC coming of 80s costumes to put on the characters that came with the special edition, but it didn't drop yet. There's also a bunch of video filters, so you can do a 70s filter, you can do a VHS filter, and you can do a classic black and white horror filter if you want, which makes no sense for this game. The other two work pretty well with it. But the reason I didn't replay it that much is because another game I'm going to talk about came out, but we'll talk about some movies before that.
Yeah, I definitely need to check this out. I'll probably pick it up maybe later this summer. I'm trying to be a little frugal right now since I'm taking a little Vegas trip in a few weeks. So,
If I was going to
Back
give
to
this a
Vegas.
rating, if I was going to give this a rating like we normally do, I'd give it a 4.5 out of 5. I really loved it.
nice. Casey, I can't believe it's been a year since our Vegas trip, man.
Oh God, it feels like 10 to me. I've been very busy.
And I can't believe it's been this long since the last Ocean's movie.
Ocean's movie? What was
I
the
don't know
last
how long
one?
it's
Was it Ocean's?
It was
was
the reboot. With
The
all
girl
women.
reboot.
The women
Right.
reboot. Yeah, the girl reboot. That was fine.
Oceans Answer the Call.
Yeah.
Yes.
Did you want to talk about Shredder's Revenge, Casey, or do you want to circle back to you?
Oh shit! You know what? Fine, I'll just do it now. So yeah, the other game that came out is Shredder's Revenge: Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 5 out of 5. One of the best games I have ever played. I recommend getting it. I didn't mention the co-op for the last game, but there is like couch co-op and online co-op where each person can control a character. Co-op's a big deal in these because Shredder's Revenge is like a new version of the Ninja Turtles arcade game that we all probably enjoyed growing up. Okay. The big 4-player game. But this has 6 players because this has more characters. So what's really cool about this one is not only is it all new levels and they're so lovingly designed, beautiful hand-drawn graphics, lovely backgrounds. The levels are long, but not too long to where they overstay their welcome. It's going to take you like a few hours to beat this game, okay? But you can play as all 4 turtles, of course, okay? So the first time I played through, I played as Mikey, my dude, Michelangelo. He's pretty great. He's kind of a close-range fighter. He uses speed over power a little bit. The other side of that coin is Raphael, who's another close-range fighter because the sides are kind of short, you know? He's a little more power over speed. Both of them, great characters, okay?
I was always a Donatello guy when I played Turtles in Time. I don't know why.
Same.
I just like
Donatello's pretty great in this because he's a distance character. Him and Leo have a little bit better reach because of their weapons. Donnie's got like the power with the reach, and Leo's got the speed with the reach, okay? This is kind of a beefy fighting game. It's not like Streets of Rage where if you don't learn all the special moves, Streets of Rage 4, where if you don't learn all the special moves, you're fucked. You can be a baby and button mash through this game and probably beat it, especially if you're on one of the lower difficulty levels or playing with friends. You'll be fine. But there are cool moves that are used in certain situations, like slides, like kind of like Dragon Punch like moves. They're all easy, like 1 or 2 button executions. It's not like having to do like Street Fighter moves or anything. There's super moves that you can charge by doing a taunt. So everyone's got a taunt button. Donnie's is pretty cool because he bends over and starts playing Game Boy for a second and then like looks over his shoulder. It's pretty awesome with the 4 turtles, but then you get into the additions that they've made to the roster. So you can play as Splinter, who he's slow and deliberate, but kind of powerful. He's not the best character to play as. And then there's April O'Neil that you can play as, and she kicks fucking ass. She is an awesome character. She's speed based. A lot of her moves come from Chun-Li and Cammy from Street Fighter. And she's great. And a lot of her moves like have her randomly pull out like a camera or a mic stand or something and hit people with them. It's just awesome. She's a fun character. And it's good to see her from being the damsel in distress in all the games to actually just like beating the shit out of Bebop and Rocksteady and the Shredder and all this stuff, right? If you beat the game, you get Casey Jones, which my favorite character for obvious reasons. And the reason he's an unlockable character is because he's overpowered as fuck. If you can't beat the game with Casey Jones, you are bad at games. He's very strong. So all the characters are rated on a 6-point system, and his character is made with 7 points. That's how strong he is, okay? So he has range, he has power, he has speed, he's a little bit of everything, and the guy's a monster to play as. You will breeze through the game with him. But what's really cool is there's some cameos of characters that you would like from the cartoons. Pretty much anyone that's had a NECA toy recently that, you know, I collect those, so I'm all over it, is in the game pretty much. And you find some cool unlockables. They've said there's no DLC plans, but they'll do some if people beg enough. And there's some certain characters highlighted in this game as surprises that if they don't make them DLC to play as, I will lose my fucking mind. I want to play as them so bad.
You know who I want as a DLC character, Casey?
Usagi Yojimbo.
Kino, Ernie Reyes Jr. Come on,
Kino
baby.
would be great. There are some movie references in this.
Give me my pizza delivery guy.
There
so
are
good.
some movie references in this, but not as much as Kino.
Kino!
They've been teasing a Kino NECA figure for a while, and they haven't put it out yet. And
Ernie Reyes Jr. is the man.
Ernie is the man, because you know what? I used to watch that show Sidekicks before Chuck Norris stole the name, that son of a bitch.
Vanilla Ice would also be pretty hilarious. Just saying.
Vanilla Ice would be hilarious. But yeah, speaking of music,
You get all the foot soldiers to do the go ninja go dance before just like
they're all doing shit like that in the backgrounds anyway. Like it's so fun to see what incidental animations the foot soldiers have in the backgrounds of the different levels. They're so cool. Like in the first levels in the Channel 6 station. So there's like a cooking show. So you got like foot soldiers with chef hats cooking a little bit. And then you'll go to an exercise show and they'll be doing crunches and jump roping and shit. It's great. The beginning of the second level, they're stealing the wheels off of the turtle van and running away with them. It's so good. But yeah, the music in this game is great too. They got Mike Patton to do the Ninja Turtles theme, which is awesome. It's so awesome, in fact, that I don't skip the intro every time I play it. Like, I just watch the whole thing every time. And also, some of the Wu-Tang Clan did some songs for this game. So when you're fighting the final boss in the game, Wu-Tang's playing in the background, sort of. Couple members. It's Raekwon and someone else. I forget who the second person is, but yeah. R.I.P. Dirty, and yeah, 5 out of 5 for this game. You can do couch co-op, you can do online, play with your friends. It is available for PS4, so you can play it on PS5. It's available for Xbox. It's available for Switch, which would be kind of cool for a game like this too. And buy it. There's all kinds of references to other fun 4-player game beat 'em ups. There's like Simpsons game references in here. There's Sunset. Like, I know Sunset Riders is more of a shoot 'em up technically, but there's Sunset Rider references in this game.
Nice.
There's wrestling references in this game. Michelangelo's Super, every once in a while he'll yell out Nunchuck Party, like Super Kick Party with the Young Bucks. He's never said it before, does it now. For some reason, not Ground Chuck. Shit. I'm blanking on his name. The fucking gopher dude. Throws in a "Can you dig it, sucker?" It's pretty great. Raphael busts out a German suplex. Good times. But yeah, I was worried about this game because the Turtles in Time remake sucked, in my opinion. And I was really worried how this was going to come out, and it came out amazing. It's a love letter to beat 'em ups. It has all the stuff I love. I love beat 'em ups. I play them all the time. Like, I try to play every obscure one that I can, especially if but pretty much only if they're hand-drawn graphics and they look kind of like the cool 80s, 90s style. This fits that, but it brings it up to a new level. And again, buy it. You will love it. I guarantee it. If you had any fun whatsoever playing the Ninja Turtles arcade game or the Simpsons arcade game or even X-Men, you'll be into this. I promise. Get it.
Awesome. I definitely want to pick this up.
Lucha Gringo on PSN if you want to play with me. Dibs on Mikey.
I have not had time to play video games lately. After we did the Evil Dead review, I think I played one more game, and I haven't gone back to it, even though I like that game. And I just saw they released the first images of the Castle Kandar map from Army of Darkness.
Looks pretty cool, right? And also, they kind of said Chet's coming as a survivor. Well, Bruce Campbell said that. And so we will see.
Yeah. I also started playing Cuphead, which came out a while ago, but they just released another DLC, and I've been wanting to get to that game for a while. Chris, you should look up Cuphead. You've been watching a lot of like Looney Tunes, like classic Looney Tunes.
Chris,
recently, right?
I have.
You would love the animation style. You would hate the gameplay.
1930s.
Oh yeah, I've heard of
animation.
this.
There's a Netflix show, but like the game looks. I've heard the show is good, but the game looks better than the show. It's really like accurate to that animation style.
Netflix show is what
you should check out just some footage of it. It's pretty wild. Anyway,
playing it though, it's fucking hard.
I've enjoyed what I've played, but yeah, it's hard. You gotta have patience. Anyway, Chris, you've been very patient. Speaking of patience, I heard you watched something pretty messed up. So do you want to tell us about it?
I did.
I guess this would be Don't Cross the Streams, even though mine was a Don't Cross the Streams as well. We did this way out of order, but
well, we talked about picking something from the Letterboxd top 100 horror movies or however many it is that I hadn't seen, because I'm 49% on that list, because they've added. I guess they've done some rearranging and added some more on the list that I hadn't seen yet. So I looked to see what was recent that had recently come out, and lo and behold, there's a stop motion animation film directed by Phil Tippett that's streaming on Shudder right now, and I was like, well, I'm fucking watching that one.
Yeah. Actually, you know what? I just realized, Chris, I'm sorry to interrupt you. I didn't do my streaming film either, so this can be a whole segment. So let's get to your film. This is Don't Cross the Streams. Sorry, that was a very awkward transition, and I was very rude to interrupt you, Chris. So
No,
continue.
that's okay, but don't you dare interrupt me ever again.
I just wanted to get the segment name in so I can put the soundbite. Okay, go.
Okay. Yeah, so this is streaming on Shudder right now. It's called Mad God. So this is a project that Phil Tippett's been working on for like 30 years. Just basically just like on his own, just a side project he's been working on. Completely a passion project. He started working on it after RoboCop 2. If you don't know who Phil Tippett is, by the way, he is like the puppet man of Hollywood. Like he did all the puppets and stuff for Star Wars.
Ed 209 and
He did the
RoboCop.
two-headed dragon in Willow.
The two-headed dragon in Willow.
Did he do the Tool video, or does the Tool video just look exactly like Mad God by coincidence?
That information I do not have. But
He did some creature
Mad
design
God
in
is
Honey, I
definitely
Shrunk the
like-
Kids.
Mad God definitely feels like it's drawing on several things. The Czechoslovakian stop motion Alice in Wonderland film, it reminded me a lot of that, segments of that. He apparently stopped working on this movie when he was working on Jurassic Park, because originally he was developing stop motion for Jurassic Park, and Steven Spielberg was like, it looks like stop motion, and that's when they started to play around with CGI. And he basically was like, oh, just like in the fucking movie, when the scientists are like, oh, we're out of a job now, essentially. The archaeologists are like, oh, we're out of a job. That's exactly what Phil Tippett said when he saw the CGI tests for the dinosaurs. So he thought, oh, well, this is going to go away, so nobody's going to want to see this thing. So he, like, sadly stopped working on this for years and years, and people encouraged him to keep making it. And in the 2000s, he launched a Kickstarter to help fund the project. Basically, just working on this film on Saturdays with, like, film students to, like, give them extra credit or give them some work to do. He's just like, I just need some hands, essentially. Yeah, basically, like, I just need some hands. I can't afford to pay people to help me make this thing. So, and the result is this fucked up tone piece of a stop motion film. There's like surprisingly a really detailed plot synopsis on Wikipedia, which when I read after watching this movie was like, oh, okay, I guess that's what was happening.
Yeah, because I noticed a trend, Chris, when I was looking at my my Letterboxd. People just saying, "What the fuck did I just watch?" Like that was a lot of reviews.
So there's no dialogue in this movie. I would probably equate it with a little bit like Pink Floyd's The Wall, in that there's not like a strict narrative necessarily. But what I think this movie could have used, that I think helps you like propel you through The Wall as a film, is the music. And there's not like a ton of music. It's mostly like ambient music in this, and lots of just ambient noise and some fucked up noises as well, that go along with all the various disgusting creatures. But sort of a loose structure of this is basically it seems to be some sort of apocalyptic world. This character, who we never see his actual face, he's just kind of wearing like a sort of a gas mask and hazmat suit, is like wandering through this post-apocalyptic world of like sort of the underbellies. He goes through different levels. It's almost like Dante's Inferno, where he's going through like different levels, like an area where all of these sort of like monstrous creatures are constructing all of these like little minions that look like they're made out of lint, like rolled up lint, and they keep like dying in various ways as they're just like sort of mindlessly doing like menial working tasks to keep this like sort of machine running. fucking graveyard, just like different like mad scientists experiments, just lots of like weird visual, gross shit. I mean, it's like there's not like a ton of logic. I definitely think there's like, I think Phil Tippett could probably tell you a little bit more of like what everything means and what everything is and everything, but it's definitely meant to sort of just, be very sort of broad, as far as like an interpretation goes, and to be sort of very like, okay, like you're just kind of meant to take in all of these different visual things, and there's a lot to take in. Like, this is the one thing you'll notice about stop motion films, is that shots tend to be a lot longer because they're so fucking meticulously time inducing to make. So like shots will play out a little bit longer. Like even movies like Coraline and Fantastic Mr. Fox, like you see like the pace of shots go a little bit longer. This has like shit going on every like half a second, just like shot after shot after shot, like shots that last maybe a second or 2 seconds that must have taken months and months and months and months to animate
Nice.
and to construct and work on. Like it is like painstakingly impressive. And gross and disturbing. Like it looks like shit was made out of, like I'm sure it was made out of, your standard sort of clay and wire materials, but it looks like shit was made out of like, like cancerous tumors or fucking shit left over from, like disturbed, like a Dr. Pimple Popper's box of disgusting leftover shit was like used to construct all of these like creatures and sets and things. But overall, I think it could have used like a little bit more a cohesive narrative, like that may take away a little bit of its sort of like artistic expressionism, but maybe something to anchor it a little bit more, kind of like how the the wall uses Pink Floyd's music to sort of anchor you, and carry you through this piece. It needed something a little bit more like that, I think, because as it is, it feels like something that would play more in like an art installation. But there's so much to look at it that it's kind of like meant to be, really looked at and not meant to just sort of, take lightly.
Just throw it on at a party, see what
Maybe, but it will definitely make less sense to you if you're not fully like, if your attention's not fully drawn into it.
How
So it's
messed
kind of
up
hard.
is it? Because you said you were telling me that your wife had to walk away from the screen.
Yeah, hold on. You can cut this part out because she just walked into the room. I'm talking a little bit about your reaction to the movie I started watching last night.
Oh God. Yeah. What did I say?
She just said, "Oh God." Well, I think she's like a little bit more sensitive to stop motion stuff in general, but it's just like, yeah, the creature stuff in it is so like messed up and disturbing that he taps into like the psychological effects of like surgery and deformities and creatures and things.
Yeah.
And it is, I could just, but at the same time I'm like just imagining Guillermo del Toro and Neil Gaiman just like furiously masturbating to this movie of how much they would enjoy it.
My dudes.
Oh, I told you that I like can tolerate a lot of stuff more now than when I was younger, but like stuff like stop motion horror.
Yeah. Yeah. Sorry. She's telling me a little bit of her thoughts. Like my wife likes like David Lynch, like she likes weird shit, but this was like, oh, this is pushing it a little bit.
Nice. And this is on Shudder, right?
This is on Shudder, yes.
Ah,
And like
nice.
there's some and first I was kind of like, oh, this isn't like strictly horror. I don't know if I'd like strictly put this in the horror category, but at a certain point you're like, oh, I see why this is on Shudder. This is fucked up. Like this is some gory crap.
What was your rating?
I gave it like a 3.5, just because I think this is definitely like an impressive thing that people should watch, especially if you have like any sort of appreciation for stop motion or filmmaking in general. Like I think this is definitely like, if you're someone who likes this kind of stuff, you definitely like should check it out. But I also think that it's it's not accessible to a wide audience at all. Like it doesn't have any. It's not giving you anything to really sort of emotionally latch onto as far as like a cohesive narrative or something that will keep you kind of coming back to it, I guess, as a piece.
Very, very cool.
I need to see this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I almost watched this, and then I decided to go with the film that I'm going to talk about in a second instead. But I was very close to watching Mad God last night, but I didn't. After Chris said he was going to watch it, I was like, all right, I'll let Chris take this one. But I did watch another horror movie last night, another streaming release that I've been wanting to get to for a little bit. It came out last year, and I just didn't get around to it. But it's on Shudder now. I think I got to Shudder pretty recently. It's called Off Season.
Oh yeah, that just went up pretty
Yeah.
like last month or this month. Something like
Yeah, it's directed by Mickey Keating. He's done a lot of kind of smaller budget indie horror releases over the years. Pod, Darling, Carnage Park, Psychopaths, which I haven't seen any of them. But I'm interested to check out his other work because I thought this was pretty entertaining. It stars Jocelyn Donahue, who, along with Micah Monroe, is one of I think the top genre actors in horror over the last decade or so. I always enjoy her. From House of the Devil, she's been in Insidious 2, Doctor Sleep, Holidays, so many things.
And those of you that are looking for it, it's Off Season with no space.
Yes, no space. So she plays a character named Marie Aldrich. The story of this revolves around she gets a notice that her mom's grave was desecrated, and from this weird community that her mom was buried in this small sort of isolated town that's separated by it's like an island and separated by like a long bridge that goes up. And her mom was buried in a cemetery over there, and she gets a weird message saying, your mom's grave has been desecrated. Please come to see us immediately to determine how you want this handled. They don't call her or anything. They just send her like a typewritten note, like looks it was like typed on a typewriter. And she's like, all right. And so she goes to this town, and they're almost turned away. The guy there played by Richard Grace, who is Night King in Game of Thrones. He was Doomhead in 31, which I heard he was great in. I haven't seen 31.
Yeah, the
He's also in
movie's
Mandy.
movie's fucking garbage. Don't see 31.
I heard he's good in it. Anyway, he plays like kind of the he watches the bridge and he's like, I've been, island is closed till spring, and but they convince him to let him on. They convince him to let them through and to let the bridge down. So they go over. This is a very like Lovecraftian, very isolated story. If you like Silent Hill, if you're a big fan of the Silent Hill video games, this feels very Silent Hill, just without like the Silent Hill creatures. It's a little more Lovecraft leaning than Silent Hill. But this like town is blanketed in fog. She's going with a partner who it's undetermined if they've broken up or it's her boyfriend or separated husband. It's not exactly established. It's played by Joe Swanberg, who you might know from You're Next and the film Drinking Buddies, among other things. But he goes with her, and they're just trying to get to the bottom of this. This film is shot really, some really wonderful cinematography. There's lots of just extremely wide, like long shots, lingering pans. I actually looked at a bunch of reviews for this film after I watched it, which isn't something I usually do before talking about a movie on here. I kind of just like to go in with my thoughts. I'll maybe get an idea on Rotten Tomatoes of what the consensus was, but I don't really read reviews. But I was really curious to see what people thought and what their critiques were, because I left this film going, I really enjoyed this, but it has some issues, and I'm just curious what other people saw and what their kind of thoughts were. And I read some good reviews, and I think a lot of people felt like a lot of the cinematography and stuff he's doing kind of interrupts the pacing, which I would maybe agree with a little bit. It is, not that it's a long movie, it's only 85 minutes, but I think the issue with is the plot is a little muddled. Exactly what's going on. She's trying to get to the bottom of why her mom's grave was desecrated. She can't find the caretaker. She eventually loses contact with the guy she with, the guy that came with her, Joe Swanberg's character. He disappears. And so it's basically her wandering through this really creepy, foggy town. All the townspeople are really weird. There'll be like a moment where she goes to a bar and everyone is like frozen. And then all of a sudden she's surrounded by people and their eyes are all like white and like demonic looking, and it's like, what the hell is going on? And she escapes and retreats. She wanders through this really weird like museum in town, like history museum, and just lots of weird creepy wax figures and stuff like that. There's just lots of really eerie scenes and Just lots of really great reveals, like a really kind of, like I said, lingering pan shots. They'll like be like in the museum. You'll see her at one part, and then the camera will pan very slowly, and then you'll see like a woman standing there, eerie with her eyes like white, just like in darkness. Lots of really great shots like that. This is a really kind of creepy movie. I really had fun with it. The problem is just the way things tie up. There's some plot holes, things that don't exactly make sense. You kind of find out basically that her mom has kind of warned her not to bring her back to this island. Her mom was a well-regarded actress, and but she was very ill, had a lot of mental health issues, and you kind of see flashbacks of her talking to her daughter and saying kind of incoherent things that don't make sense. But at one point in the movie, Jocelyn Donahue's character relates to her significant other who's with her, that her mom said that there's something wrong with this island, and the people here, like the settlers there that initially moved here, like they were having trouble surviving the storms, and this man from the sea walked up to them and made them a deal. You know, like it was like a deal with the devil or something. And we don't find out exactly a lot more about that until towards the end of the movie, but it's kind of very kind of vague, and like what's going on in this town. Why does it close for like the season? Like the when the bridge goes up, you know, the guy's like, it's closed till spring, you know, like you can't get through until spring. So assuming this is like, I don't know, fall or something when it gets closed. And so there's just a lot, like the mystery is a little vague and could have been drawn out a little bit better. But I did really dig the vibe of this. Like I said, it feels very Silent Hill. If you like that kind of foggy town, like it feels like a video game almost. Like you could easily see this, because it feels Silent Hill. She's just wandering through this town into different locations and stumbling upon, you know, having interactions with different people. There are some cool practical effects moments, but it's really more about the atmosphere and that kind of dread and just like this mystery and this unknown of what's going on here. And really suspenseful. I think this is worth a watch for sure. You also have Melora Walters in it, who plays Jocelyn Donahue's mom. She's been in a lot of Paul Thomas Anderson movies like Magnolia and Boogie Nights, so you might recognize her. She's really good in this. But really, this is like a movie about like isolation and just it has this ambience to it that I really, really dug. Just make sure you're awake for it, because it is there are a lot of long drawn out moments. So you know, I was kind of drifting in and out a few times because it was late when I watched this and I was pretty tired. So just make sure you have some caffeine when you watch it. But not to say that it was slow, because I didn't really feel like it was slow. I was kind of tuned into what was going on. But there's just lots of quiet moments, and she's just running from thing to thing and kind of just figuring out what the hell is going on and why are people disappearing. And so this is off season. My rating was 3 stars, but I waffled through that to almost 3.5 to 4 at some points because I was really enjoying it. I just felt like the way things tied up, I didn't mind the ending. It was just, I don't know if all the plot things quite make sense. Not everything was really explained. I was trying to look up some like summaries just to see what people were saying what happened, because I just wanted some clarification from other people as to if what I thought happened, other people felt like happened. So, but I think this is worth a watch. If you like kind of Lovecraftian stuff, if you like things like Silent Hill, like isolated, creepy towns, this isn't like a gore fest. If you're looking for that, this is not that movie, but I think this is really good. Jocelyn Donahue, really, it is like almost a one-woman show in a way, because it's really just lots of close-ups of her reactions to thing and just all the emotions she's going through as she's wandering through this insane town. And she really, I think, delivers here. I think this is one of her stronger performances that I've seen of hers. So definitely check out Off Season. I'm interested to see more of what Mickey Keating does. He's a young guy. I think he's like my age. So definitely one to look out for, even though I don't think this is a perfect movie. I definitely think this is one to check out. So if you see it on Shudder, it's good. It has a much lower rating in IMDb than I think it should. It's like a 5 or a 4.8 or something. Yep. But Rotten Tomatoes, it's like 66%. So I would lean more towards the Rotten Tomato percentage than IMDb. I don't know what the audience rating is on Rotten Tomatoes, but for me, this was a high 3, maybe 3.5. I really enjoyed this. I would just say, compared to Watcher, I think Watcher is a little... there weren't any plot holes with that. The story is pretty tight in that film, and this one, I just think there's some story inconsistencies and logic loopholes and things like that I don't know if add up necessarily. But overall, I definitely think Off Season is worth a watch. Good stuff, a really cool kind of story. Definitely some really eerie stills and images and stuff in this film. So definitely check it out. That's Off Season, directed by Mickey Keating. So,
Oh,
Anything else you want to say, guys, before we wrap this up? I think it's getting a little long here. So
I'm sweaty.
you're sweaty.
Yeah, it's getting hot. Yeah, okay, so we gave you some solid recommendations, but I do want to preview something that's happening in the future, Zach.
Okay.
Because we are going, me and Zach, sorry Chris, there's still time. Come out. We are going to Midsummer Scream.
I probably should buy my ticket.
Oh yeah, so Zach's gonna fuck up and not get a ticket.
No, I'm just trying to wait for a couple checks. All right, I have a Vegas trip before that, so I've been buying too many clothes, guys. I have an
So
issue.
I'm going Golden Bat. Zach will be lucky to get general admission probably now.
I might because you know what I'm excited about that we're not going to do. They're screening WNUF Halloween sequel at this, Chris, on like the Friday of the event. Yeah.
You can always go if you get a Friday, or if the Golden Bat ticket works for all the days. But yeah, the Golden Bat Pass is the way to go. I gotta recommend it to people listening, just as a tip.
I will go because it's Casey's birthday weekend.
It is, and so $135. It gets you in all 3 days. You get in an hour earlier than everyone else every day, and you get front of the line access to the haunts. And
Are you going to go
panels.
more than one day?
Probably not. I don't want to drive. 'Cause
Why did you buy it?
Well, because I just want front of the line. I did it last time too. I just want front of the line for the day that I'm going. If Monster Palooza is listening, Elliot, if you're listening, anyone that's involved with Monster Palooza, please do this and get a VIP pass. I will pay for it. So we had to wait like 2 hours in line to get into Monster Palooza. No. I was probably the 5th person to enter the convention last time that Midsummer Scream did, the one that was in Pasadena, because of the Golden Bat.
I mean, Midsummer Scream's slightly bigger event than Monster Palooza, from what I recall.
It's a lot bigger.
Space. Yeah,
the Long
so
Beach one's a lot bigger. Yeah,
the VIP certainly makes sense for that, and with Monster Palooza, maybe they just feel like there wouldn't be enough value for it.
But again, though, Midsummer Scream did the same venue as Monster Palooza, still did this, and people bought it.
That was Awaken the Spirits. That was like a smaller thing. Usually Midsummer Scream, and like this one will be at Long Beach Convention Center, which is a huge space.
Yeah, but the Golden Bat Pass was the same price for Awaken the Spirits. It's cool though because you get like a special pin, you get like a special sticker. You get some stuff for doing it. They also had a pre-order for the convention shirt up, which is really cool. So I pre-ordered one of
Nice.
those because they ran out of my size last time because I didn't pre-order a shirt. So I am not fucking up again, and I'm getting the right shirt. Because they always have cool logos with that cat that kind of reminds me of the cats from Batman Returns that are on all the stuff. So yeah. So anyway, a few tips for the con. Hopefully Zach gets a ticket someday.
I'll be there. I'll be there. Anyway, we'll have more about Midsummer Scream for you towards the end of July.
Actually, it'll probably be in the August episodes of the show because
Probably,
it happens at the end of July.
It'll probably be August. Anyway, let's plug our social media and get out of here. So you can follow us on Twitter at twitter.com/AMP horror. You can also subscribe to us on YouTube under Another Mishable Podcast and follow us on Twitter at twitter.com/AMP.
Oh, and Zach, did you notice that we now have enough subscribers to have a custom URL?
We've had enough for a while.
And where the fuck's our custom URL, Zach?
We do have a custom URL. It's
Oh, we
Another
do?
Mishable
Okay.
Podcast Horror Decomposed. They like make it for you. You can't really I would have shortened it. Yeah,
That's long.
so-
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I just
It's
say look
okay.
up Another Mishable
It's
Podcast.
okay. We're a bunch of long boys here.
The easiest thing to do, guys, is really just go to our website, anothermishablepodcast.com. Has all our social media links there, and you can stream the episode straight from the site.
Boom.
Chris, where can they find you on Twitter?
I am on Twitter at Chris Pistol, Chris with a K and Pistol with a E, and Letterboxd, same name.
Hell yeah.
And Casey, what about you?
I'm Lucha Gringo, all one word, at Letterboxd and Twitter and PSN. If you want to play some Ninja Turtles, once again, dibs on Mikey.
But not Instagram. The Lucha Gringo there is an imposter.
No, that's this dude Gabe. I know him. That's why it's weird.
Dude, Gabe.
Yeah.
Follow
Shout out to Gabe.
Shout out to Gabe.
Yeah, that's what's weird is I know the guy and he has my name. Yeah.
Anyway, there needs to be a death match, man. You know,
Yeah.
or a strap match or something.
Strap match.
Jock
Caribbean
strap
strap match. Yeah.
You can also follow me on Twitter, my personal account, twitter.com/earth2 Zach Earth, the number 2 Zach ZAK. I'm also on Instagram and Letterboxd under the same handle. If you have anything you'd like to promote, if you're interested in being a guest on the show, if you have artwork, we'd love to promote your stuff on the show. So write us at anothermishpolpodcast@gmail.com, or if you'd rather, you can send me a DM on Twitter or Instagram. I'll answer anything like that. I'm friendly, I promise, but we'd love to feature your work, or if we have you as a guest on the show, anything like that, we'd love to interview you. Please write us anothermishpolpodcast@gmail.com, or send me a message on one of my other social media accounts. I will respond. Unless you're weird, then maybe not. We do have a weird policy on this show, as Casey has stated multiple times. All right.
Yeah, and also I would like to go on the record and state that our custom Twitter URL isn't the only thing that's long. So enjoy your week.
Okay, and on that note, I'm going to go for a hike. Hey, Chris, there's a Blair Witch Project screening today in Los Feliz, 35
Great thing to
You wanna
mention
go?
after going for a hike. Good times.
wanna go?
Thanks for teasing me, Zach.
Cinematic Void. You want to come with me?
Yeah, just let me know all the cool stuff I'm missing out constantly.
That's all right. I'm probably not going to go. I'm not going to go, but I'm tired. I need to save money. But I wish I could go. It looks cool. And that's a nice little theater there. All right, guys, take it easy. Have a wonderful day. Stay safe. See you next time.
Cowabunga.